good day to everybody joining us once again for our Meet the Vendor webinar series, where we get to meet people and companies from all over the world who are operating the Atlassian ecosystem and adding value and features and capability and all the good stuff. And today I've got Ostap from Reliex, hailing from Paris. And he's going to tell us about time tracking, capacity management, and I think I read somewhere that one of the top sellers in this particular category. So thanks for joining us, Ostap, nice and early, and over to you.
Nice to meet everyone. Good morning for everyone who is taking their early coffee. I'm gonna start with some basics about our main product, Activity Timeline, which is the bestseller app on the marketplace for 4 consecutive months this year. I hope it will tell you something new, but if you already know this, maybe it will just show you something new from the app that you already heard about. Just the background about our main app. So this Activity Timeline, it's all about answering these 2 questions. So who is doing what and when it will be done. So this is basically focusing on what is the capacity of the team, what they are doing at the moment, and basically when is the anticipated ETA for getting this done. And also, if you're looking into the past, where the team has spent time, so basically I should understand, okay, if you planned some time, then we need to see the results, how it compared, like actual versus planned. So these are the questions that our tool helps solving. So I hope after this presentation you will have better understanding how you can utilize our tool to understand this information. We have developed 4 different modules in our tool. The first one called Plan. So this is like the high-level overview for managers and administrators to view what people are assigned to. So all the information here is synchronized from Jira, and each user gets their own timeline where they can see, okay, what is assigned and how much of the capacity it takes. So it provides a really great overview for managers to understand what is their teams, what their teams are doing, and what is their capacity if they're overloaded or underloaded. This is like the main view. The second one is so basically this is the individual view where we provide the overview for individuals to see what they're assigned to, what managers scheduled for them, what they need to do, and also they have a very easy possibility to log time. So basically, they can report just in few clicks the time that they have spent, either billable, not billable. So there are options to categorize the time and basically see how much time you need to report more in order to meet your capacity. The third module is Track. So these are like the classical timesheets. We have different variations of those. I will go into more details when I will be talking about this module a little bit later. But essentially, it provides different types of reports for managers to see where the time was spent in what project, in what issue, and you can customize it by custom fields, so you can see precisely where your team is spending time. And the fourth and last module that we have is called reports. So essentially, it provides like different reporting capabilities, primarily on the forecasting side, but also like comparing planned versus actual. So here you have like resource utilization report, you have planned versus actual, and much more. So we have also released some charts that I will be showing. So there are quite a few reporting capabilities. But not only this, we also integrate with other reporting tools on the marketplace, like EasyBI, so REST API. So the reporting is not only limited to our tool, but you can actually integrate with other apps on the ecosystem. And it also works with planning. I will show you later that we can integrate with advanced roadmaps. Okay. And now I want to dive deeper into each of the modules to show like the main functionalities, what are the main value points that customers find. So the first is plan, and this is like the cross-project and cross-team timeline. So here, when you see the timeline, it always represents the actual timeline of the person. So if the person is assigned to multiple teams, multiple projects, they will see everything that is assigned. So it will not happen that the one manager from one team assigns the tasks to the person, and then the other manager assigns, and it makes effectively the person overloaded. So you will always see the correct workload on the individual in order to avoid like double booking of the resources. The second is the two-way sync with Jira. So as I mentioned previously, so anything that happens in our tool is immediately synchronized into Jira and vice versa. So if you change, let's say, the duration of the task, the estimation, the assignee, it will be reflected into Jira and vice versa. So you don't need to do changes into systems, and it really saves a lot of time. And apart from like Jira synchronization, as I mentioned, we also integrate with advanced roadmaps and other project planning solutions like Big Picture, Big Gantt, or Structure Gantt. So basically, any changes in those tools, since they are synchronized into Jira, we can also pull them and reflect them. So basically, you can do planning not only in Jira or in our tool, but in other tools, and we will synchronize them and show the results in our tool. And like one of the main features of the tool, so basically how to understand if your team is over or underloaded, is the workload indicator. So this indicator, it calculates based on the estimates or story points or our internal estimation values, how busy the person is. And it can work in mix. For example, in one project, you work in story points, in other project, you work in hours. It can understand this. And basically, you can set up different capacity schemes for users. So for example, if you have people that work different schedules, it can also understand this and calculate and show you with colors if the person is over or under booked. So currently it shows in hours, but you can also show it in the percentages. And yellow here means that the person is underloaded. Like green means it's good, so basically the perfect allocation. And red always obviously means that the person is overbooked. So 12 hours a day, hopefully none of us should be able to do. Like it's too much, and it's an indication for the manager to reassign some of the work. Last but not least, about planning, so custom events. So these are the events that are not available in Jira, but we have added them in order to expand the possibility that users have. Because, for example, some events like non-working events, like vacation, days off, so Jira does not provide this. And these events are very important if you plan the capacity of your team in order to understand, okay, what is the actual capacity? Because if you work 40 hours a week, but you have 2 days of vacation, you cannot do 40 hours of actual work, right? So that's why we have developed this. And you can manage either vacation or holidays, including public holidays for different countries. They can all be managed through this tool. And once applied, it will correctly calculate the person's capacity here and in all the reports. But apart from that, there are also work items like bookings and placeholders. So they are like additional reservations that you can assign to a resource in order to show, okay, maybe the person is not working on the actual task, but this person is booked. And these work like high-level reservations. For example, if you want to assign on the large project in the future, you know that you will need this person for 100%, but you just don't have anything created in Jira yet, or maybe not the whole project. So you can just assign those high-level items to say, okay, I booked this person for whatever percentage or number of hours per day, and the system will know this and will show that this person is not free. So basically, this is like the additional possibility for managers to show that people are busy, both on individual and on the team level. So here, just want to highlight that we also provide the possibility to plan on the team level, which sometimes comes handy if you want to plan something into the future, but you just don't know who will be doing this. And you can also calculate the workload on the team level, which will be like the aggregation of the individuals inside this team.
Right.
Okay. And
You've got all the components that we're looking for.
yeah, hopefully. Yeah. So this was the plan module. Then let me move forward to work. So here again, it's an individual view. It's quite simple. This is all about time tracking. So the goal here is to simplify time reporting by individuals, so they have multiple ways how to do it, but also they see what is assigned actually to them. So in this view, I don't see all the like any irrelevant information, just what's assigned to me, what is the status, like the priority. I can show some additional custom fields on these items. And this is all about letting the employee know what he or she should do today, tomorrow. And they can also work from here. So people can close tasks and report hours. So they don't need to switch between different tabs in Jira. That was actually the goal. So because people usually work in multiple projects, and basically you need always to have a few tabs open. Here you don't need this because you have tasks from all projects that you are assigned to, and you see them all in one place. As I mentioned, so you can see them here. You can manage them. So it's all about permissions. If you have permissions, you can manage your own schedule, add holidays, request vacation, all from here. But again, it depends on the permissions that you provide to your users. But nonetheless, they can report time here, and like here, personal time tracking. They can report billable, non-billable, or any other category, because we have different categories of time. You can customize this, and you can report this quite easily. So managers can later generate timesheets for everyone and see where the time was spent. But this view in particular was to simplify this process for employees, because we all know that actually the employees that need to log time, they usually don't like this. So we tried to make it as painless as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and as you're saying, they're working on different tasks across different projects, maybe as part of different teams, and and the context switching, because there's sometimes, yeah, working on one thing, they've got to put it down to do something else. And then to have a view of your calendar and your time, I can see, yeah, how useful that is for the individual.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And also forgot to mention that we have recently added like the semi-automatic time tracking. So basically employees, all they need to do is just click on this icon to start the timer, and then they can even close this window. We will calculate the time, and then when they just come back, they can say, okay, I stopped working, and that's it. So they don't really need to keep track of their time. We'll do it for them. You just need to say start and finish, and we'll do all the rest. So again, all about simplification for individual, so they don't need to spend any extra effort about login time and spend more time actually doing work, because that's more important. The timesheets, so this is for managers, this is what they love to see, who is login time, where the time is getting spent, so they have a clear picture. We have here three different types of reports, so progress, timeline, and detailed. And progress is all about knowing how many required hours you have to report. It is based on your capacity, but also it includes any non-working days like vacation and so on. So the system knows, okay, if you had to work 3 weeks, but one of the weeks you've been on vacation, it will reduce the number of hours you need to report. It shows what is the actual, and if you had any non-working days, so the managers can easily see, okay, like maybe someone forgot to log time, or maybe there was some issue, maybe someone logged too much. So it's very easy to spot here. this timeline timesheet, this is, I would say, like the most classical timesheet. So you see your teams, team members, you see like day, week, or months, and how much they logged. And it's all about grouping time. So you can basically group by project, by issue. There are different templates that are default ones, but you can generate any type of timesheet based on your like any field from your Jira. So you can group, let's say, like by customer and then by billable or non-billable or any type of field that you have. We will allow them load it and allow you to group the data. So you know, okay, we spend this amount of time working on this account. This is how much time was billable, non-billable. So this is all possible with this timesheet. And last but not least, in terms of timesheets, it's the detailed. So basically, this is the customizable report. So you can build your own report with your own columns, and you can know, okay, how much time was spent, what were like the additional metadata that they can add. You can group this again by any field from your Jira. So let's say like, okay, total, how much time I spent in this particular feature. What were like, let's say like the priorities and so on. So this is very flexible. And all of the timesheets can be exported into Excel. So you can then do some other modifications there. Yeah. And moving next, so we come to the last module, so reports. Here we actually have quite a few reports. So here I will show you just very few, which are the most popular ones. But actually in our reports module, we have like almost 20 different reports. All of them are customizable by different criteria. But this one is the main one. So it answers the question like, who is doing what is the available capacity, where is the bottleneck. So I would say this one is the most important one. Here you see your team members and total team capacity, what is the currently utilized, so what is already booked for these resources and percentage wise. And you can drill this down by project, by epic, by issue. So it's quite flexible, right? And you can easily spot, okay, here I have Leslie, she's almost free, so I can assign some more work here. But for example, here Brooklyn is not free. Probably I need to reassign some work because this person could be overbooked, right? So it's very easy to spot, and you can report in hours, in percentages, in man days. So again, very flexible. A second one is like team capacity chart. So previous one was more like more granular on the individual level. This is higher level. So it allows you to see what is the total capacity of the team and allows easily to communicate to your upper management about like what are the limitations, what is our current capacity as the team. And it shows with different colors, different projects that we are assigned to. And the blue line shows what is the maximum capacity. So if we reach or if we go above this capacity, it means that like we have more work to do than actually available capacity, available people in our team. So preferably it should stay below the blue line. But if this happens, you can easily spot this and say, okay, maybe I push some work into the future, or maybe I communicate to the upper management, okay, if we are consistently above this blue line, we need to hire more people to compensate for this for this workload. And the next one is plan structure. So this is very important. We have actually this as chart and as the report. As chart, it shows by period, so by week or by months, how much time we planned to spend time there and what is the actual. So this is important. Like if we have, especially if we are talking about billing hours. So if we have, like if the customer has agreed to pay, let's say like for 100 hours, but we ended up spending like 500 hours. So 100 hours will be like on us, right? Because the customer will not pay for this. So it's very important to track. So this is a little bit higher level because it's just saying you like okay, this is what you planned and this is what you spent. But we have like a more detailed report where you can see it on epic or issue level, like, okay, what is the problem? Like maybe there were like a few tasks that took more time. So basically you can drill this down. But essentially this report gives a good overview. So, okay, this is how we planned, this is the actual. And ideally they should match, because if it's like this, where you have planned to spend a lot, but you didn't spend, it's also a bit alarming. So maybe something went wrong. So you can check it out.
Yeah, looks like you got the views. I mean, yeah, because we're always going through these scenarios. I think this must be such a familiar story to so many teams and team leaders, being able to manage all this information. So a thought's going through my mind, because I guess we come across a lot of our clients don't have, let's say, a very good time tracking culture. So I think what I'm thinking to myself, this might be an interesting way to go about it in terms of how easy it is to actually track your time. So I think that's interesting to know. But I'm also thinking, what about an organization that's using something else like Tempo, for example? What would a cutover from Tempo to activity timeline look like?
Mhm. Yeah, so we actually have quite a few customers that use Tempo timesheets and our tool. So because Tempo, they have a suite of products. One of like the most important one is Tempo timesheets, but they have also Planner. And our tool is basically like a combination of two. And what a lot of customers find is that like, okay, they like timesheets, but they don't necessarily like the Planner. So that's how they find us. And we have both, and we integrate with Tempo timesheets. So for example, if you like Tempo timesheets, you don't need to migrate to us. We can pull all the data from there, and you can continue logging time in Tempo, and managers can plan time and report here. So we will know all about the time report in Tempo, even though in the cloud they store their time in a specific way. We can still pull it, and we know who logged this time in Tempo. But if in some time you decide to migrate, we also provide the possibility to migrate all the work logs that were previously logged into our system. So it all depends on your liking. So some customers, they decide to stick with Tempo timesheets and with our tool, but some decide to migrate because of the cost, of course, because Tempo is one of on the costlier side of the spectrum in the marketplace. And in our tool, you basically have two tools in one, and you just pay for one.
All right. No, that's a really interesting approach, that you've set yourself up to work with all these other applications in the environment. So you can run big picture and activity timeline at the same time. And you can run Tempo and activity timeline at the same time. And then, yeah, that's good. That's a really good way of operating.
Yeah, exactly. So we like we're against any like forcing just to use our tool. So if you already like something, we can fit our tool into your workflow, so you can get some additional value. So you don't need like to get rid of all your other tools. Just use our tool. We try to find ways how to maximize your existing value, what you already use, and add something more. So that's why we try to collaborate with other marketplace partners, find some possibilities to integrate our tool into their tool or vice versa. So yeah, we don't force anyone to use our tool. We just hope that by using our tool, you maximize your value from using Jira and other add-ons on the marketplace.
All right, really good.
Okay, and let's finish. So I think it's the last slide that I have. So team utilization chart. It's basically just a pie chart that shows you the time. So either where the time was spent, if you're talking about the past, or where do you plan to spend time if you're talking about the future. So you can have some understanding, okay, what is the most important project? Or maybe like we plan to allocate maximum 40% to this project, but it's already over 50. So you can have the understanding like how the time is getting split in your organization between different projects. So just to stay like to be in the know, like to understand if it's all right with your priorities. And
Yeah.
that's basically it for me. So again, Timeline is one of the most popular tools in capacity planning and time tracking. So we provide both of this, so you don't need to install two tools, and you just pay for once for all the functionalities that I have shown. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, thanks very much for that, Ostap. That's really good. I think that's yeah, phenomenal in terms of the functionality that's sort of critical and how it's all wrapped up in there. And I think also from the individual team members' point of view, just to make it easy for them to go through the process of time tracking, because the reality is a lot of organizations, they're kind of services, they get paid by the hour. It's just how it's going to be. And yeah, those costs need to be allocated, and we need to manage our capacity so we don't overcommit and all of that. Look, yeah, really good. So yeah, anybody out there, I know a lot of organizations don't have that time tracking culture. This is an opportunity, I would say, because it's going to deliver so many benefits, and you've got a product that is really focused on making it easy for the team. So yeah, so please, yeah, get in touch with us, and yeah, we'll set up a trial and see how it looks in your environment. All right, thanks very much. Yeah, go on.
Just to add, Michael, so yeah, it's very important to use time tracking, but we actually do have a mode that if organization does not want to use time tracking, it's possible, and you still have the most of the features intact. So there is a way to replace time tracking, or maybe you're in the process. So some teams use and some teams don't. They actually have the configuration that allows to use the tool without a need for time tracking. That's no problem. So it just the way how much data you want to see. Of course, if you log time, you will see more data. But even if you do not log time, you still can use the product. So it's not a deal breaker for us.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, really good. So you can get on top of your capacity management and still have your team individual scheduled view, but yeah, don't necessarily have to have people tracking time, which yeah, we acknowledge is frustrating. So yeah, fantastic. All right, awesome product. Yeah, get involved, people. This is there's just so much capability that we can add to your Atlassian environment. And this is just another one. So thanks very much, Ostap. Enjoy your day, and thanks very much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks, the audience. And if you have any question, yeah, feel free to reach to Design Industries for any questions.
Yeah. All right. Thanks very much. Cheers.